Hello folks, yes, you've probably guessed from the title that Twitter have done it again. The obvious left-wing bias of Silicon Valley could not be kept under wraps for much longer, and this time they were blatant about it. So this all started when Hunter Biden started to trend on Twitter with about 710,000 tweets. But not long after this, it was noticed by some people that this trending tab had completely got rid of Hunter Biden. So what exactly could have caused this? Well, the particular reason he was trending is because of a particular article. An article named "Smoking Gun Email Reveals How Hunter Biden Introduced Ukrainian Businessman to Vice President Dad," i.e. Joe Biden. And this was an exclusive story by the New York Post. And with a headline like that, I can perfectly see why people would see that as relevant information about the current presidential candidate. So what was Twitter's response to all this, you may ask? Well, the first thing they did was make it so that if you tried to post the link, it would not work. As Ian Miles Chung shows, should you try and post this link, Twitter will stop you and say we can't complete this request because this link has been identified by Twitter or our partners as being potentially harmful. Probably their partners in the Democratic Party. Visit our help centre to learn more. And of course the help centre probably says, get stuffed, we can't help you. And on occasion where it did work, where John D managed to post it, he said, I had to try this 3 times with different versions of the link to get it to work. And as you can see, Twitter removed it. Seems like they really want to hide something here. Maybe I'll go through this article after I go through all this censorship from Twitter. And if censoring the main timelines of Twitter was bad enough, it doesn't even let you post this in the DMs. If you attempted to post a link to one of your personal friends on Twitter, you would get a message from Twitter saying that this may be automated, but we are trying to protect our users from spam and other malicious activity, because sharing an article from the New York Post is obviously malicious. They will say they can't complete the action, please try again later, but of course, later on you will probably not be able to post the link either. This censorship got so bad that even more mainstream figures had to weigh in on it, such as Nigel Farage, when he said the Biden family have all made a lot of money when they did not have the skill sets. When real questions start being asked, Silicon Valley appears to close ranks and protect their man. Imagine if this story was about Trump's son, and that is completely true. And if censoring small names wasn't bad enough, Twitter decided to lock out James Woods, not even for posting the link, but just for telling people that Twitter is censoring any facts that expose the Biden corruption scam. This is true, and that's why I'm making this video. Twitter, you are covering up for the Bidens. That much is clear, but you ban people for pointing that out. Not even people, man. One of the most famous Republicans on the website. And if it wasn't bad enough trying to lock out a celebrity of their account, they even did it with real Queen Kayleigh McEnany. For those of you that don't know, that is President Trump's press secretary. And they locked her out for violating their rules against distribution of hacked material, because apparently putting in the link to the article that is bad for Biden's campaign is seen as use of our service to directly distribute content obtained through hacking that contains private information, may put people in physical harm or danger, or contains trade secrets. Well, that last one certainly looks like it was a secret, but unfortunately the Streisand effect goes far and wide. So in response to this, the Senate Republicans just sent out a tweet saying, "See you soon, Jack." Presumably they will take him to court for trying to meddle in the elections, which quite frankly is completely deserved. And the Republican House Judiciary literally just copy and pasted the article and put it in their own link, saying Twitter has blocked users from tweeting the link to the New York Post story on Hunter Biden, so we put it on our website for you to read and share. Click, share and retweet, which I suggest you do. And is Twitter really going to censor the government? Probably not. Well, I say that, but I just tried to click the link and I get this warning. Warning, this link may be unsafe. The link you are trying to access has been identified by Twitter or partners as being potentially spammy or unsafe. So in accordance with Twitter's URL policy, this link could fall into any of the below categories: malicious links, spammy links, violent or misleading content, or certain categories of content that, if posted directly to Twitter, are a violation of the Twitter rules. Yes, well, being anti-Democrat does seem to be against Democrat rules these days. So yes, Twitter is still doing their best to try and censor this story, but Well, that's not going to get them very far. I say Democrat rules, I meant Twitter rules, but they're one and the same at this point, so who cares? And of course, some Twitter lefties were saying censorship is good, actually. Carl Griffin, and for those of you that don't know, this is the senior producer of MSNBC's The Last Word, he said no one should link to or share that New York Post quote-unquote report. You can discuss the obvious flaws and unanswerable questions in the report without amplifying what appears to be disinformation. Yes, have all your information filtered through the MSN. That's what the MSN say. Bunch of twats. So at this point, we may as well go through Twitter's response to all this. So Jack says, our communication around our action on the New York Post article was not great. And blocking URL sharing via tweet or DM with zero context as to why we're blocking is unacceptable. And he links to a Twitter safety thread, which we may as well go through. So Twitter say they want to provide much needed clarity around the actions we've taken with respect to the two NY Post articles that were first tweeted this morning. The first saying the image contained in the article include personal and private information like email addresses and phone numbers which violate our rules. They go on to say, as noted this morning, we also currently view materials included in the articles as violations of our hacked materials policy. Again, no details around that. Commentary on or discussion about hacked materials such as articles that cover them but do not include or link to the materials themselves aren't a violation of this policy. Our policy only covers links to or images of hacked materials themselves. Obviously that's not true because James Wood himself got locked out of his account. So we're all used to Twitter lying to our face and Twitter trying to suppress stories, and this one, they seem to have just been caught red-handed. I mean, the article does have emails in it, but they appear to be public Gmail emails, so to be fair, I don't know exactly how lame this excuse is. But we may as well go through the article, since I really want to help out with this Streisand effect. So let's get into it. Hunter Biden introduced his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, to a top executive at a Ukrainian energy firm less than a year before the elder Biden pressured government officials in Ukraine into firing a prosecutor who was investigating the company, according to emails obtained by the Post. The never-before-revealed meeting is mentioned in a message of appreciation that Vadim Pozharsky, an advisor to the board of Burisma, allegedly sent Hunter Biden on April 17, 2015, about a year after Hunter joined the Burisma board at a reported salary of up to $50,000 a month. So this is very much a no-show job. This is Hunter Biden essentially getting extorted money. Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to DC and giving an opportunity to meet your father and spent some time together. It's really an honor and pleasure, although that says reality. The email reads. An earlier email from May 2014 also shows Pozharsky, reportedly Burisma's number 3 executive, asking Hunter for advice on how you can use your influence on the company's behalf. So, I mean, this just looks like blatant corruption. And the article has direct pictures of these emails, but I don't want to put them on YouTube in case YouTube tried to censor this for the same reason. But links in the description if you want to have a look yourself. The article goes on. The blockbuster correspondence which flies in the face of Joe Biden's claim that he's never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings, well, we all knew that was bullshit, is contained in a massive trove of data recovered from a laptop computer. The computer was dropped off at a repair shop in Biden's home state of Delaware in April 2019, according to the store's owners. Other material extracted from the computer includes a raunchy 12-minute video that appears to show Hunter, who's admitted struggling with addiction problems, smoking crack while engaged in a sex act with an unidentified woman, as well as numerous other sexually explicit images. What a chad. The customer who brought in the water-damaged MacBook Pro for repair never paid for the service or retrieved it, or a hard drive on which its contents were stored, according to the shop owner, who said he tried repeatedly to contact the client. The shop owner couldn't positively identify the customer as Hunter Biden, but said the laptop bore a sticker from the Beau Biden Foundation, named after Hunter's late brother and former Delaware Attorney General. Photos of a Delaware federal subpoena given to the Post shows that both the computer and hard drive were seized by the FBI in December, after the shop's owner says he alerted the feds to their existence. Well, what a good citizen. The article then mentions that the Post managed to get a copy of the hard drive through the shop owner giving it to Rudy Giuliani's lawyer, who then gave it to the Post after Steve Bannon mentioned it. But into more important things, less than 8 months after, Pozhoritsky thanked Hunter Biden for the introduction to his dad. The then vice president admittedly pressured Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko and Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk, sorry, I cannot pronounce these names, into getting rid of Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin by threatening to withhold a $1 billion US loan guarantee during December 2015 trip to Kiev. I looked at them and said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor is not fired, you're not getting the money. Biden infamously bragged to the Council on Foreign Relations in 2018. Well, son of a bitch, he got fired. Shokin said that at the time of his firing in March 2016, he'd made specific plans to investigate Burisma that included interrogations and other crime investigation procedures into all members of the executive board, including Hunter Biden. I mean, yeah, this is really bad stuff for Joe Biden and his presidential chances, I have to say. This essentially all shows that he's been caught red-handed. Though, according to Joe Biden, his defense to this is that he insisted that the US wanted Shokin removed over corruption concerns, which were shared by the European Union. But from here on out, the rest of the article is basically entirely about this corruption scandal going on and on and on and on, but I don't want to waste too much of your time. I think if you're interested, you should go read it. I think these first few paragraphs really show the height of the corruption of Joe Biden, though. However, there is an interesting bit near the end where it mentions that last December Joe Biden also lashed out during a Democratic primary town hall event in Iowa, where a man accused him of sending Hunter to the Ukraine to get a job and work for a gas company he had no experience with gas or nothing, in order to get access to the president. You're a damn liar, man. That's not true, and no one has ever said that, Biden fumed. Biden then continued to berate the man as he stepped forward, called the man fat, and challenged him to do push-ups together, man. So it appears that whenever this is mentioned on the spot and he's not ready for it, he throws a temper tantrum and personally insults people as if he is trying to hide something, which this New York Post article really seems to point out what he has to hide. So that's all I'm going to go through with the article, because honestly it's very, very long. I don't want to spend too much time when you might not be fully interested in all the details, but I think I got the main points out. So, as usual, all links are in the description. Do see them at your own leisure. But that's everything I've got for you today. So, as usual, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.